Martyr! This is Rolling Into Metal, motherfuckers! Rolling Into Metal!
Because Rhys ain't here today, I've got Chucky with me as well, okay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And because Rhys is a wheelchair user as well, I just stick Chucky in a wheelchair. So he's rolling into metal as well as us. Not walking,
Oh, yeah.
rolling. So yeah. So thanks for being part of Rolling Into Metal and Joshua Reeves and thanks for being here. And you are Martyr. Could you introduce yourself? Who are you all? That'd be great first.
Well, my mate is your first name, innit? So.
Well, I'm Amari Hurley from Martyr, and I play lead guitar.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's all you do?
Yeah. All I do.
That's all you do.
Nothing else.
And attempted back when you can remember to do
Well,
it.
I can remember doing it.
When you can remember doing it,
Yeah.
I'm Brandon. I play rhythm guitar and I do backing vocals. Well,
I'm
Louis.
Stuart Parsons and I'm the lead singer. I'm Louis Hawks and I'm drums.
Well, I did see you guys at Fuel, and I guess you saw me in the front with Rhys, and this is how this podcast came about, to have this interview with you guys. Really, I was like, these guys, like, I could see that you were very 80s band, like really love the 80s, and that for me was just like crazy because I was like, wow, it's just incredible because I didn't know what to expect when I saw you guys, and I know that one of you guys jumped on the stage during the band before,
Yeah, that was me, yeah.
doing vocals, and I was like, right, that's cool, like just grabbing a random fan. I realized then you were the next band up. That was a good thing because there's a lot of old school thrash during your gig, and I just loved the vibe as well from the crowd and stuff, and having that speed element to it. So my first question is to you guys, is that what made you want to do this kind of like speed thrash metal, and especially it's kind of like an 80s theme, like in a way of like it sounds very 80s to me anyway, and I love that.
So I think for me, I kind of slowly got into thrash because I started on like hard rock, so my favorite was AC/DC. And moving to college is where a lot of my metal roots were kind of planted because he showed me a lot that I didn't know.
Woo!
And I say to him, like, I have him to thank for.
His head's getting bigger.
I have him to thank for all my metal knowledge because he showed me most, if not all of it. That's why I started playing it.
I got into thrash naturally through. Obviously, you get into heavier and heavier stuff as you get through music. So it tends to like I took a step up from Guns N' Roses and ended up with Metallica. But I got very into it and learning the roots of it, and then realizing a lot of it was based around British heavy metal and the new wave of stuff. I felt a little bit of a sense that I kind of want to take it back for ourselves. That obviously the Americans ran with something that we started when I feel like we should have always had the moniker of thrash metal and just kept going with it. So in a way, it's almost a little bit jealousy that the Americans got to take this form of music that I'd wish the British had done. It's almost amending it now and almost setting a different course for thrash metal than it was before with the American side of things.
And because James Hetfield's your biggest celebrity crush.
I won't deny that. I won't deny that at all.
I don't think any of us can.
Yeah. For me, it was Metallica started everything, and I would say after Metallica, I didn't find Megadeth for a long time, but I went straight to new metal after Metallica, and Slipknot was definitely a big part, and especially in my influences, definitely still. And then it was groove, and then so on, got slightly heavier. But yeah, speed is the best, in my opinion.
It's intoxicating.
Yeah.
I got into thrash because I used to listen to like emo shit, and a lot of their like inspirations were like Slayer and like stuff like that. So then I just decided to listen to it, check out from our favorite bands how they got into it, and that's how I got into it.
That's cool. And that's what I mean is that it's so good to see young bands just like wanting to be that old school thrash metal. Like you don't really see that, especially speed metal. It's like a genre that is not touched upon a lot in metal scene, especially when you talk about extreme music. It's just mainly like black and death metal. People usually talk about in terms of the higher volume of what is extreme music. Because I always think of thrash is a little bit left behind these days. But that's why I was like, wow, like these guys are just going for it, and you put on a really great show. So in terms of writing your music, how does that come apart then? Like, do you work together as a collective team, or does just one member of the band write the music, and how do you form the riffs together?
When we formed, Brandon already had a lot of songs written, so he
Yeah.
brought that, and then I think as a band, then we developed them all together, wrote a couple new ones.
Realized that it's like a trickle down thing. I spend a lot of time writing regardless. So I'll have a demo of a song ready to go. Then I'll show Mari. Amari will add his flavour to it, change these riffs, change this structure, add this chorus, add this verse. And that's when it goes to everyone else. They take it, they say, I don't like this, I don't like this, I like this. Then it comes back to me and Amari figure little tweaks out. Then that's how it just evolves. It's giving it to each other. Someone changes something they don't quite like till it's a fully fleshed out song. Big example, that's He Rises.
Yeah.
I had He Rises written already, take apart a few riffs. There was a whole harmony section to it that was just thrown in for seemingly no reason.
It's so random.
The Mari came to me, was like, I'm not happy with it. Stu, you came to me, you weren't happy with it. So I was like, right, we'll actually sit down and talk about it. Then that's what we came up with, a whole middle section. A song that doesn't seemingly need to have a breakdown now has a breakdown in it. It's got a better harmony section, it's got layers on it. It changed. That's simply just through communication.
That song went from just having random harmony to having such a better fitting harmony with a good riff over it, and then
it's easily like another 2.5 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, and then a breakdown riff just out of nowhere because we didn't like that one harmony section originally.
Yeah, that's how we tend
The
to work.
rhythm section on that harmony just fully built it.
Yeah.
Fully backed it all the way.
To be fair, I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't even imagine writing songs any other way now, because I think the how we do it, it definitely works. I don't see the point in changing it because it does work. Yeah.
I mean, we've tried kind of writing the songs in rehearsals, but when there's not already kind of a base foundation, it sometimes might not go anywhere because
it turns into being silly and doing silly covers.
Yeah, or it'll get heated if we don't. So I think it definitely works, us giving the rest of the band foundations and them changing whatever they don't like.
I think that's what makes a good band as well, is that pushing that all together. And what do you think is the most hardest thing being a more band and getting your name out there? Like,
I think right now our block is like actually releasing, because it's so hard to book the studio. So that's definitely how we're gonna get our name out there like more. But right now it's a bit of a block on that because we can record. It's just so hard to book the studio.
Bristol has a very big punk scene, which works in our favour, but it also leans heavily into its indie side of things and into electronic music side of things, and that's where we tend to start to break off a little bit. It's kind of hard to mesh with a lot of people in that sense. Punk's no problem. They have the same ideologies, the same sensibilities that we have. But there are certain venues in Bristol that like their electronic music and only really touch our electronic music. We'd like be fucking cool to play there, but it's not totally possible with the promoters they have, so we have to sack that idea off them. Or we could play this whole month. They're like, yeah, we've got plenty of slots open. What genre are you? Thrash metal? Oh, right, never mind, we can't book.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't always work. So right now we're playing a lot of the same venues, which in some cases works in our favour, some cases doesn't. It's just trying to break out a little bit more with a genre that's so hard hitting.
Yeah, I think
that's why Fuel was so awesome, because we could actually that was our first time getting a new audience really out.
Yeah,
get out there.
That was one of the best audiences we played with.
That was so good.
I think what's good as well, we've kind of established ourselves at certain venues that we've gone back to multiple times, but we do regularly still go out to other venues, for example, Cardiff. And for example, Cardiff, and when we did the Griffin, we did Z Alley. It's not venues we've played often.
The
Fleece. Not venues we've played often, but then we've got the venues like the Exchange, Griffin, and Louisiana. We have gone back more than once.
Doing the Fleece though is kind of impressive because a lot of good like a lot of well-known bands play there as well. And it's just like I said, is that it's just trying to find, I guess, like you said, it's just trying to find that click of what your audience is going to come through the door and what they're going to expect from you. Was it quite nervous then going to Fuel, because you said that you've never been to Fuel before? That was a different setting. Probably going to the land of sheep. What did it scare you?
So
We were so excited, man. We were. I don't think there was really any nerves. We were just. It all
No,
turned into
I think
excitement. Might have
I
been a
think
bit of shakiness, but that just got turned into pure excitement.
I think even
Yeah.
though it's obviously further away from when we normally are, I think because it's the most metal kind of venue we've played in, it was very welcoming, and it was nice because it didn't feel like we were strangers there because of how welcoming it was, and like
Community that way was there, yeah.
people knowing and actively liking the stuff that we make. Because sometimes you'll go to a gig and you'll have people that maybe aren't as into it, but when you go to a
They
venue like
sit in a
that,
corner
you
with their
know.
arms crossed and didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
But when you go to that kind of venue, you kind of know everyone's going to be like, enjoying it and singing the stuff you're making if they know it.
I'd
Fuel. Oh, go on, Larry. Sorry, go on.
sorry. I was just gonna say, I definitely say for me as well is I always find my excitement when we hear the other band's sound check, and when they're like us and their music is, fast in whatever genre. That's always the excitement for me, is we're actually playing with people that are like us, and we haven't been put with some bloody indie band that
Yeah.
we've never heard of.
Have you ever done that then? Have you ever been on tour with an indie band and was like, oh shit, we're in the wrong shoe?
Our
For fuck's
first
sake.
ever show with an indie band.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I mean, one of the exchange, it was just all indie, wasn't it?
to quote the band that we opened for, they said it's like they closed for us. That's what they said when we were in the pub afterwards. There was a complete mismatch, and we haven't really done it since.
Yeah, I mean, sort of exchange
That
recently
wasn't
with.
our fault.
No, it wasn't our fault, but obviously that was still a little bit, quite a big jump to go from having like bongos on the stage to us.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Smash the bongos, but yeah, but it must be hard and challenging, because especially with when you know that band who you're supporting or who you're closing for, then it must be really hard to think, oh, what side of the audience have I got you? And I guess do you look for them Metallica t-shirts? Do you look for them Avenged Sevenfold t-shirts? Do you look for them Slipknot t-shirts? So then you know then that them people are here to watch you and not some Oasis shit.
We'll make anyone up. I can promise you, even if you don't like the music, a good show is a good show, regardless of whether you like the genre or not. So we try to put a pretty big emphasis on that, as we'll be undeniable wherever we play or wherever we play to. Obviously, it's not always the greatest thing, with the Britpop mafia, but it's not necessarily something that we shy away from. If anything, it's a good challenge. But it's always welcome having metal fans in. Jesus fucking Christ, mate, for a good show. Hates crowd surfing. We love it absolutely to death, especially last night. Absolutely mental. But
crowd surfers last night. Yeah, that was awesome.
Don't want to get the impression that we won't play in front of anyone, because we will, and we will blow the fucking head off if they're not ready for it. Down, so where it's flawless, but not feeling so on a rail where it's not fluid. In terms of the actual connection, we all feel fairly strongly about the music we write, and let that do some of the work. And the songs we've picked for our EP are very deliberately chosen, because those will we get the best interaction from the crowd. So the rest of it is just the actual nature of the recording. We think the songs are strong enough by themselves to get a reaction.
Yeah, definitely. I would say as well, some of the people that have come to our gigs, hearing them singing along to some of the riffs. Do you mean I have no doubt that those same riffs would stick in people's minds when recorded, because a lot of them are pretty memorable, definitely.
And obviously, when you write in the music and stuff, you tend to just go for the same kind of structure. and kind of pattern, or do you just sometimes want to mix up some songs and want to get out of that comfort zone? And what I mean by that is a lot of bands, I know that you're new and stuff, and you're trying to find your probably sound still, and I feel like that's like when would you know as a band that you've got that sound and that's what you want to push out, really?
All of our songs are gracefully different, I think. We have we call ourselves groove thrash for a reason. We take a lot of the hard weight of groove metal like Pantera, but mixing it with speed, and that though those two branches don't tend to create uniformity, because regardless of what we're going to do, we're going to have to lean one way or another. It's going to be impossible to split it down the middle, and
Yeah.
that's how our songs end up so different. But I think in that case, there's a certain element of the tenacity of it, the spontaneous of the music. It's very flowing in that sense, and because every song is different, we also feel that nothing's gonna be missed on a fan. A fan who likes death metal, you're gonna quite let Repent, with how strong that song is in that terms of how driving the riffs are. People like Pantera are gonna love Here Rises. If you listen to a lot of Kill 'Em All, you're gonna like Epistaxis. It's not deliberate. It's just how those riffs and how those songs came out.
It's kind of a reflection of us as people as well, definitely.
A sound isn't necessarily something that we're concerned about, more so a feeling you get from art that we're very, not to say progressive because we're not prog, but progressive in that sense.
But I think we're kind of good at when we're writing a song, we kind of know what direction it's going to go in.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, Repent, when that was being written, when we kind of established the first riffs, it was kind of clear it was going to be a heavier song. And reason Louis so good is he's so good at complementing that and putting in the right drum parts that complement the riffs so well.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, like especially the Repent breakdown.
And in that, Louis kind of carved himself his own style, really. That I don't know whether you picked up on it, Louis, but I have. Whether you choose to be outstanding in a song or not, because you're so complimentary, you're outstanding in your own sense because of that. And I know you fucking love it.
I definitely say for me, because obviously with our music, I find the drums very, very easy to fit into the riffs. Obviously I know it's not done, but the new song that we're still writing, I mean, first time I heard it, it was fast. It was really, really fast, but the opening was so easy to get. Do you know what I mean? That really fast drum fill, and that stuck. And I think obviously my influences are very unique and very different. So I think that's where my side of it comes from.
Does everyone in the band have a different influence? What are your main influences for this particular sound, really? I know you mentioned Pantera, but is there another element to it?
There's accidentally Slayer. I don't think we really touched on Slayer deliberately, but we just have this Slayerness about it. I think that's what Stu really likes.
Everyone says we're like Slayer, man.
Yeah, none of it's on purpose, but we just end up sounding a little bit like Slayer.
I think
the harmonies are actually just Slayer.
Yeah.
No, they're Martyrs.
Slayer influenced.
My vocal influence is probably that I put into this band. I mean, a lot of like some of the, I don't know, like the high screams I would do. I take a lot of that probably from like the album I Brought You My Bullets, Bullets by MCR. Just like emotional screams, like they're like gut wrench, man. That's how I probably get my screams. Then on the metal side, like Paul Baylor from Exodus, One of My Bloods, that really fits like our style of music. It's just like so brutal, man. And I felt Anselmo.
Yeah,
I get a lot of brutality from that as well.
Yeah, I see a lot of Exodus in you. I do. I really do. I feel like that's what I wouldn't put from my perspective. I wouldn't put you as Slayer. I would put you more as Exodus. Because you've got that push towards what Slayer has. But when every time someone says about Slayer, I always think of like Antichrist and war songs, and I know from when I've seen you live, I don't know if I'm wrong here, but do lyrics about Antichrist stuff and war?
Yeah. One song in Repent I sing about.
Two songs that are about, like one of them is about Bay and the other one's about other things that are combined to make a pit to hell. Yeah, obviously Stu wrote the lyrics to Repent. They're inherently satanic, but there's more nuance to them. then I think you might first interpret. I don't know if you want to go into detail about.
Like it's got a deeper personal meaning to it, and it went it a certain way. I probably won't touch on it, but
Not just
It's
Satan.
Yeah.
Satan.
a lot of Slayer's lyrics might be about dark, evil, death. While we have a song like that, there's still more to it.
Yeah, and it's all colliding your favorite bands because I guess you had that idea for like a monomorph and stuff in terms of Viking
Yeah,
shit.
absolutely.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey guys, before we start the video again, we have got some sponsors, some partnership from Eulogy. This video is partnered with them. Tremendous guys, tremendous rock music. Check them out in your local area if you have a chance to, and just keep it metal. Over to you, Neil.
Hi, Neil here from rock band Eulogy. Just giving a shout out really to the guys that are rolling into metal, Josh and Rhys. Go and listen to this podcast because there's some awesome interviews and things on there. These guys are really passionate about all things rock and metal, and Eulogy are really proud to be associated with the podcast. So go and check them out. Just to give you a little update on what's happening with Eulogy, we've got lots of things in the pipeline. We currently enrolled new guitarist Richard Wood into Eulogy, and we are rehearsing now and writing lots of new music as well. So very shortly, we're going to be going into the studio, and we're going to be releasing 2 new singles later this year. So keep an eye out for that. And then later on this year, we are planning lots of different gigs, festivals, etc. So check it out later on this year. Follow us on Facebook and all the other socials, Instagram, etc. for all the new news of gigs that are coming out and new music we're going to be releasing. So go and check out Rolling Into Metal podcast with Rhys and Josh. You won't be sorry you did. Some cracking stuff going on there. Cheers, guys. To continue on what we were on about in terms of influencers, there's a question that I know that Rhys be wanting to ask you guys because he's obsessed with this question, and every band that we interview, he's got to mention this question. He loves it. It's what does metal mean to you?
When I found metal, what was year 9, so I was 13, 12, something like that. I didn't have a clue what I was gonna do. My music taste was awful to say the least.
Right, we've all
And
been there. My music team
Yeah.
is so
Name the bands. Shame, I'm joking.
Shame on them.
honestly, like it was just pop music, a little bit of Arctic Monkeys, Oasis.
Oh,
Arctic
Yeah.
Monkey.
When I found Metallica, I can remember first song I heard was Enter Sandman, and I can remember not thinking much of it, as you do. By the way, you should not think much of Enter Sandman. And I can remember hearing Master of Puppets for the first time, and I was like, "This is it! Like this has changed it for me." I completely changed my life because of metal. To say the least, the group of friends I had back then was not good.
You man.
I completely changed that. And that was thanks to metal. That was thanks to finding drumming. And then found Stu through a friend, and then we started a band.
J-Rock.
J-Rock, yeah. And then Amari was through college, and obviously Brandon was through Martyr.
I think to me, metal was like my
Life.
whole well, not my whole life, but my whole musical life, because it influences a lot of what I do and who I kind of associate with. And even when it comes to just getting gear, it's what influences what kind of stuff I buy. So I think for me, it's a lot more than just, oh, I like this is heavy, headbang to it. It influences more than you kind of realize, influences who you kind of become friends with, what kind of venues we play, and what kind of gear I buy, which I definitely have got a problem with.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's just kind of, it is everything. I mean, because music is my everything. So I think that's what metal is to me, is just my everything.
I think I have a lot going on mentally at all times. I think a lot. Fuck off you. And I think in that sense, I became quite introverted. And when I first discovered like Metallica, having the first song for Whom the Bell Tolls,
Fucking ride the lightning.
fucking ride the lightning. It's the first real time I felt extroverted, like something I could get out, something I could express. And especially when I came to playing it on guitar, there was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to play it on guitar. And it sort of made things click a little bit. As soon as I felt that feeling, how infectious it was to play it, it only became a bigger and bigger rabbit hole to fall into it, to where it is now Martyr. Like, even in my day-to-day life, I'm quite introverted. But the second I put on the tightest jeans known to man, and my bullet bag, and my vest, it completely flips over, and that became very important to me, I think.
I think it's pretty similar to me with Brandon. Like, I used to be like, when I was a greasy little emo, I used to not talk to anyone. I used to be introverted. I used to be a sad little boy. But then I started listening to metal. It does really changes the way you act, the way you think, like the friends you meet. It's such like a good, tight community. It's so welcoming. I mean, just really does open up. It's like what Dave Mustaine said: "Have you metal is life? It's not a trend.
It's not a
And you
trend.
got a fire inside you." It is. It's so empowering for a person. I think metal, 100%.
Yeah, and I love when you guys stories because for me, and I could speak for Rhys here as well, is that me and Rhys's experience is that we had parents that like metal. Like, Rhys is a bit older than me, so obviously his parents was into like heavy stuff, but not like the heaviness that I had, because my dad got me into Metallica and Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, but then Rhys then was more like Black Sabbath and Cream and go from that. And I was just wondering whether you didn't mention, obviously, family. Was there any connection within family as well that showed you that, or did you just feel like, well, fuck this, my family don't like don't like good music. I'm just gonna find it on my own.
I just found it completely on my own. My mum was like a raver. I grew up with rave music in all my childhood years, and then I don't even know how I found it, but just found it completely by myself.
I was listening to a lot of, from my parents, a lot of my influences. So I already knew like Queen, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, stuff like that. And more so on that, less so on that side, sorry, like a lot of Foo Fighters. I always had the essence of it around me, but never metal. It was never, obviously disregarding Black Sabbath, listening to like Paranoid and stuff and War Pigs. But they gave me a very solid foundation to discover off of.
Yeah.
Which I think is very valuable to me.
Yeah, because when my dad listens to death metal, my dad's like, how the fuck do you listen to this? So like I said, it's that kind of genre, like generation, sorry, that generation between the genres, and I think that you discover on your own then as well in terms of that. What about you, Lou, and Amar?
You know what? It's funny for me because although I got myself into metal and I have myself to thank and no one else, but I am so thankful for all the genres that I was exposed to growing up, because my mum was a lot of 80s sort of pop. My dad was some modern rock, a little bit of classic rock. My brother was definitely the indie and rap, and my grandparents was the Beatles mainly, and the Beatles are still one of my favorite bands today. So yeah, for me, I found it myself, but if I wasn't exposed to what I was growing up, I definitely don't think I would have.
No, that's just mad, and you touched upon your grandparents as well. Like, growing up, I was a massive Elvis Presley fan because my grandpa used to listen to Elvis, and he still does. And it's just that I feel like it's that kind of like knowing like how your family comes apart with it. But it's very interesting. You said that you found that journey on your own, Amar, and then and really push that forward and stuff. You mentioned that your mum likes reggae. I wonder if you could ever do like a metal cover of Bob Marley or something one day. Be interesting.
Yeah.
Mad that you've done that and stuff. I know a friend of mine. He's got a solo death metal band. He does everything himself. called Chasing Boys, and when every year he's trying to do a Christmas um a Christmas song, and I think he did Fairy Tale of New York death metal version. I was like, wow, that's impressive. So it is quite challenging to do, I guess. I've got one more question before we wrap up. And the question that I want to know is that what is your favorite cover to do, and what made you do mechanics as well? Because at first I was like, oh, they're gonna go for horsemen, and I was like, that's too fast for horsemen. And I knew I could tell there was a good drummer anyway then, because I was like, oh, he's way better than Lars, so it must be mechanics.
So
Lars started it all for me.
yeah, in terms of mechanics, we were a quick mindset or someone, or maybe it might have been a band called Anoxia. They were going to play Four Horsemen, and we thought it'd have been a funny fucking idea for them to play Four Horsemen, and then we play mechanics. Which is why we opened it like doing it slowly. It's like, oh, are we playing Four Horsemen? Are we not? Then no, that's kind of where it came from. Then we started playing a song and realized it's really fucking daft because the lyrics are absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
But it's so fun to play. So like, you know, we'll keep the little bit in it, even though they didn't end up playing Four Horsemen. We'll keep the little intro in it. Then just fucking play the song. It's fun. Just daft.
What was your favourite cover we've done though?
I might be biased. Might be a recency bias, but I think Harvester of Sorrow. Holy Wars was mint. Holy Wars was incredible. Well, I just love the tenacity and the anger of Harvester.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. It's my favourite Metallica song.
Yeah,
I've got to say it's my favourite one we've done.
My
Hard
favourite
one for
cover
me.
was Mechanics, probably.
Mechanics, yeah. Louis?
It's a hard one for me, but I'd probably say Mechanics or Holy Wars. I think just because of Holy Wars is a bloody hard song to play, and I think we played it pretty well. But Mechanics is just a fun song to play. I'd probably say Holy Wars though.
We did kill Holy Wars, to be fair. We played it so fast.
Yeah,
Holy
we
Wars
did.
was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I do feel like at the time we looked at the videos back and that was fucking out of order.
We
I
are
know-
trying to write our own cover, though. We want to do a 10-second slope of Thrash, like really fast.
Might
Like
just
take away all that glam and then just make it Thrash metal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's not happens yet. I do want it to.
I guess the more content you make as well, the more harder it is to fit in covers and stuff like that. But I always would love to see you guys perform a melody one day, just random like timings of when you're gonna play certain songs. And I remember when you did start Four Horsemen and went straight into mechanics. I remember looking at Rhys going, right, is this gonna be Four Horsemen that I'm gonna be singing, or mechanics? I've got like no like what is because obviously it was fast, but obviously yeah, anybody's faster than Lars. So sorry Lars if you're watching, but it's just yeah, I just feel like that's kind of that I was like, oh, what are they gonna play? Because it's such a tease. It's such like a, and I think as well in terms of that particular song, like if you like thrash metal and you just get into it and you're like, oh, it's Metallica song, and then they don't know the Megadeth Mechanic song because they're like, what the hell? Because I remember listening to Mechanics when I was in college, and I've been a Metallica fan since I was in like late primary school because my dad used to play Black Album and Garage Inc. in the car and stuff, and it was always on. And I remember listening to the Four Horsemen and loving that song. And then listening to Mechanics in college, Megadeth's first record, because I was into the Peace Cells and Holy Wars. I didn't really go into Killing Is My Business until I hit college. So when I went into Killing Is My Business, I heard Mechanics. I was like, wait a minute, I know this song. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. But yeah,
And
it's
it's way
crazy.
superior. Way more superior than Four Horsemen.
Whatever the faster version was, we were going to play it.
Yeah.
If Four Horsemen was the speed of Mechanics, and Mechanics was the speed of Four Horsemen, we would have played Four Horsemen. Whatever the faster one was, we were going to fucking play it.
Yeah.
It was really funny though, because obviously my parents come to every gig, and and trying to explain to my mum that there's a song called Four Horsemen, which is almost the exact same as Mechanics. The baffled look on her face that it was from two different bands. I was sat there for about half an hour trying to explain it. Couldn't get anywhere with it.
Because also I think it's either Seek and Destroy or it's Four Horsemen. That they use the Princess of a Bride, which is Princess of the Night. Sorry, not Princess of the Bride. Princess of the Night by Saxon, and they use that riff. I think it's Four Horsemen. And it's like then I know then it's like that difference then because it has that different break. But yeah, like you said, it's so hard when you first hear. You're like, oh, what am I hearing? Like it's crazy. And then you think, is he speaking in a different language? Is he like speaking Spanish? Because obviously Mustaine is very like very thin with his vocals, and it was a different language, wasn't it? Some of the vocals. Yeah.
Just the
So
lyrical mechanics is absolutely fantastic. So shit. It's really, really shit. The lyrics, I don't know. They speak for themselves how crap they are, and I think that also kind of swayed us towards it a little bit. Just actually getting Stu to sing those, and for him to speak about cars having sex is just great. That's just fun.
Just much better as well.
Right, there we go then. There you go, mate.
I think it fit because our whole thing is Fast, Loud and Rude, and that is a Fast, Loud and Rude song.
but yeah, thank you guys so much for being part of the podcast.
Thank you so much for having us.
I was going to say as well, before I go, is there anything that you want to tell our viewers about any up and coming gigs, up and coming albums, stuff that you're looking forward to playing this year, or any shout outs? Just go ahead now.
We've got Thrash on. That's coming up.
That's a weekend Thrash festival at the Griffin.
Well, and we've got Fuel again, October 5th, and that's really big on our list to go back to Fuel again.
Absolutely.
Back to Cardiff. You guys treated us so well last time, so
It's a standout gig for all of us.
Absolutely. Cardiff was great to us, so we want to come back and show the love again. Yeah.
We are releasing our EP probably in March as well. Shout out to.
But still Thrash then. That's gonna be big.
Yeah.
Shout out to Billy Morgan, man.
Shout out, guys. Well into metal for fucking having us on. Jesus, man.
Thank you so much. It's
Yeah,
really
you're welcome.
Little kiss.
Welcome.
Little
And like the video and subscribe, I guess. But if you check it out and stuff, and check out other videos as well.